Welcome to episode 15 of the LoraineCounty.com Business Insights Podcast. I'm your host, Ed Skimmon, and today we're talking with John Sonnhalter from SCORE Cleveland. Join us as John talks about SCORE Cleveland's role in supporting small businesses and nonprofits through mentoring, webinars, and workshops. With a rich history starting in 1964 and a network of over 10,000 volunteers across 250 chapters, SCORE has significantly impacted the local community. John shares insights into the organization's volunteer-based services, its collaboration with small business development centers, and how SCORE's efforts bring value to the community. John shares a little bit about his journey from founding his own advertising, marketing, and PR firm with no prior experience, navigating the challenges of entrepreneurship, to retiring after 42 years and passing the business on to his son. Here is my conversation with John Sonnhalter.
I'm John Sonnhalter. I'm with SCORE Cleveland. SCORE Cleveland is a nonprofit organization that does mentoring, webinars, and workshops for small business, for people who might want to get into business, and for nonprofits.
Can you tell us more?
Sure. SCORE was started in 1964. We're affiliated with the SBA. We've got over 10 million folks that have been in business that we've helped since we started. Our 10,000 volunteers across 250 chapters in the country. And we've donated about an average of 1 million hours of service every year. And in the Cleveland area, we've been able to help 501 new businesses in 2022. It also impacted 808 new jobs in Northeast Ohio. We cover 7 counties from Ashtabula to Erie and Huron. And I'm in charge of Lorain County.
Can you tell me some stories about Lorain County, the work you've done here?
Yes, we've been active with the community, Elyria Community Partnership, which is a nonprofit. We've done some workshops and webinars with them, again, for small businesses, to get folks prepared for the upcoming year, and also to talk about some of their challenges that they have as far as cash flow and maybe changing their marketing strategy in order to get some more things done. We helped Good Nights, a nonprofit that builds beds for kids who sleep on the floor. We helped them start 3 years ago, and they're growing exponentially every year.
What makes SCORE unique?
SCORE is unique in the fact that in our chapter, there's 90 SCORE members. Most of them are mentors, but we do have some subject matter experts. Most of the folks that are in the volunteer queue are retired business executives, although some of them are still working, and that's why they're more subject matter experts. If you're looking for legal, accounting, HR, those kind of things, we can bring in a subject matter expert. But most of us, I started a business when I was 27, and for 42 years, I ran my own business. I wish I would have had the guidance of people who've done that. You don't know what you don't know. It helps people as they move on.
What are the costs?
There are no costs. We will mentor anyone for as long as it takes. And again, a lot of people have an idea that they might want to get. I have this great idea, and they think they want to get in business. We talk to them and help them discover all the things that need to be done. And a lot of times they say, gee, we don't want to do that. And they walk away. Other folks that are in business that, again, as you're an entrepreneur, you're chief cook and bottle washer, and you're wearing many hats, and a lot of hats you aren't expert at. You could be a sales or marketing guy, but you don't know about operations or actually product. We can come in and fill the gaps. We have expertise in most business acumens. We had a customer that had some sort of a plastic injection mold company. We didn't have any plastic injection mold folks in our deal, but we had 10,000 volunteers across the country, and we went and found that gentleman, a person who had experience if he wanted to start a supermarket or a food service. Again, if we didn't have those kind of opportunities, we could count on 10,000 other people. We'll find somebody that knows what they can do.
Very volunteer driven. How is it funded?
The SBA used to give us $12,000 a year as our budget, but they basically have consolidated that into a region now. We are funded by us going out and asking foundations, asking businesses, personal people to help us fund our operation. Our biggest cost is It's letting people know that we're here. We're one of the best kept secrets. Marketing takes money. There are some costs associated with if we're doing workshops or special events, food, just event costs. Our budget, I think this year was around $55,000 or $60,000. And again, banks, businesses, foundations, they understand what we're doing and why we're doing it, and they help us financially.
How are you similar or work with or collaborate with the small business development centers?
Most of the small business collaborative centers, they're a little bit beyond us in the curve. A lot of people, again, we get people all the time, hey, I got this great idea. If the SBA can just give me a $100,000 loan, everything's cool. But they're nowhere near going after that loan. SBDC's, one of their biggest missions is to get small businesses who are ready SBA loan. A lot of times we get referrals from them to help people prep and get their business plan and their financials ready so they can go after an SBA loan. So that's how we basically work with. When our clients are ready for loans, we push them on.
Let's talk about the big picture. What's the benefit that accrues beyond just the direct business that you support? What benefits to the community, to the county, to residents of the county?
It goes twofold. We're looking to help small businesses. Small businesses are the core to our country. But more importantly, there are a lot of folks that I know that retire after a successful career. It's a great way of having folks give back to the community. And again, it's if people take your advice and you see them grow, that's reward enough.
That leads right into my next question, which is how do you measure success at SCORE?
We have, after the first mentoring session and after the fourth mentoring session, the client gets a survey on how we do and what they're doing. One of the major accounting firms audits it every year. The numbers I shared with you for 2022, that in our Cleveland chapter, we had 501 new businesses started in that 7-county area, 808 new jobs, and we had about 7,600 mentoring hours and webinar hours that we presented in this area. So that's how we measure. We have a number of KPIs that we look at.
Going forward, what trends do you see and how do you see SCORE adapting or adjusting as things change?
I think the trends are that we're still, I think, in uncertain times. I think that everybody keeps talking about a possible downturn or a recession. Small businesses are the least equipped to handle those. So they may have to turn, they may have to change some things. And as small business people, one of their biggest mistakes is that they wait too long. If you have to cut the cord, you got to cut the cord. We give them advice that says, here's reality. What if you don't do this? They make the choices. We're there to help them, just mentor. But it's those kind of things that we try to do.
Let's switch over and talk a little bit about yourself.
Yeah.
What's your background? What led you to this position? I know you said 40 years running your own business.
I started my own advertising, marketing, PR firm. I was 27. My degree was in marketing. Had no experience. I didn't come from an agency, so I didn't take clients with me. I started it from scratch. And you get motivated. I had a wife, 2 kids, and a mortgage. 42 years later, I retired, and our oldest son took over the business, who's still going in Cleveland. As I said earlier, I would have loved to have had some mentorship when I started out. I learned, but I learned the hard way, and it was an expensive way.
You had to see a lot of changes in 42 years in marketing advertising. What's something that stands out?
Again, 50 years ago, if you wanted to do advertising, other than print, you had magazines, newspapers, radio, TV, and billboard. Now, there's probably 100 different ways they do it. And it goes from the traditional stuff to all the digital stuff, and it's very, very complicated. I'm glad I'm retired.
In the time you've been with SCORE, what are you most proud of accomplishing?
I'm proud of SCORE Group in Cleveland. Every year, SCORE National awards a chapter, like the chapter of the year. A couple of years ago, we won that, and it's all based upon all our performance key indicators across that we beat everybody else. So we're doing stuff, and we're doing stuff right. And again, just to see the people who take your advice grow. There's a lot of nonprofits in Northeast Ohio, and we try to help those nonprofits as well.
Where can people go to get more information?
They can go to score.org. And again, if you want to mentor, there's a button that says, I want to mentor. You fill out a couple things, your zip code, somebody get a hold of you. And if you want to be a volunteer, score.org and hit the volunteer button.
Thanks, John. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the LoraineCounty.com Business Insights Podcast. We hope you found this conversation informative and that it provided some ideas that will help your business continue to grow. Please follow us on your favorite podcast platform to hear each episode where we shine a spotlight on local resources that will boost your business. And we want to hear from you. Email ed@LoraineCounty.com to share your feedback and topic ideas.